The Wild Robot is adapted from Peter Brown's trilogy of children's books, but Chris Sanders made several changes to The Wild Robot's source material, which ultimately made it a better movie. DreamWorks' animated feature quickly became one of the most cherished releases of 2024 and follows the robot named Rosm7134, known as Roz, stranded on an island inhabited by a number of species. Besides its heartwarming story, The Wild Robot is elevated by its superb cast who voice its dynamic and charming characters. The feature's blend of elements earned wides. The main story follows the book series' path, wrapping up with an ending that perfectly positions it for the sequel, which will lead right into the second book. The family dynamic between Roz, Brightbill, and Fink still requires significant exploration, particularly given Roz's current separation from them. Adapting Brown's series for the big screen meant that changes and dramatizations throughout the film were necessary, which is especially evident at the end of The Wild Robot. While changing an original story always carries risks, the alterations made in The Wild Robot were essential, significantly improving the story's heartwarming quality. Acclaim. Fink, the charming and cheeky fox, is just one of Pedro Pascal's major roles from 2024. However, this character was not as involved in the main story in Brown's books. In these original stories, Fink is a supporting character, though he retains his mischievous trickster streak. For the most part, Roz's journey to raise Brightbill by herself isolates her from all others to save the Gosling, and their relationship becomes the series' central theme. The Wild Robot's theatrical adaptation changes Fink's role rather drastically, as he becomes a crucial companion to Roz and helps to raise the young Gosling. Undoubtedly, Pedro Pascal's keen interest in the film likely influenced the decision to make Fink a more prominent character, given the audience's enthusiasm to see him in significant roles. In 2024's The Wild Robot, Fink quickly won the hearts of audiences as an outcast, yearning for love and to be a part of a family unit. His backstory became a vital part of The Wild Robot, and his quest for acceptance was a reflection of what Roz and, later on, Brightbill experienced. Naturally, Fink was essential for the story's progression and effortlessly earned the audience's affection. One of the most pivotal moments in The Wild Robot is the moment Winter threatens to endanger the wildlife on the coast. While both the book series and the film portray Roz as selfless and eager to help animals, they take very different approaches. In Brown's story, Roz doesn't encourage the animals to come to her nest. She simply lets them take shelter there if they arrive. Once her nest is full, she goes into the snowstorm to build more shelters for the remaining animals on the island. However, the film sees Roz make more effort to save the animals. What truly resonated with audiences and made The Wild Robot an instant hit was its emotional impact, and this is most powerfully demonstrated when Roz unites everyone, urging them to set aside their disagreements for their collective survival. Saving each species individually adds dramatic value, mostly because it forces the predators into the same shared space as their prey, challenging them to overcome their natural instincts. Roz encounters numerous obstacles while saving certain characters, with some needing rescuing, making you unsure whether their survival is guaranteed. This perfectly captures the story's emotional core and aligns far better with the film's tone. The ending of The Wild Robot was intensely dramatic and suspenseful, which owes to the climatic final showdown between Roz and Vantra, as well as the 6 Rico units, Everything Everywhere All at Onces. Stephanie Hsu voices the antagonist, who does an excellent job at instilling the robot with a maniacal demeanor, creating an unsettling clash between Vantra and Roz. With that in mind, the book has only 3 Recos working against Roz, who are relatively easy to take down. While these units still aim to reboot Roz to her factory settings, the Wild Robot movie significantly ups the ante. The Wild Robot needed more antagonists to make its otherwise lifeless and dull final battle exciting. The movie needed to build substantial risk around Roz's actions for her sacrifices to feel truly meaningful. Not to mention, this was amplified by the intense emotional journey that unfolds throughout the film's length. Several moments leave you unsure whether Roz will be able to escape, particularly as the robots decimate with relative ease, which is equally heartbreaking. The imposing presence of Vantra and the 6 robots unexpectedly gives way to a beautiful scene as the animals unite, sacrificing themselves for Roz and Brightbill. The Wild Robot movie has a bittersweet ending which was mostly absent from Brown's original series. However, it makes the potential for a sequel all the more likely after the immense success of the 2024 animated movie. In the first book, Roz is much more content to stay on the island with her newfound family, whereas she fears the damage that may occur if the machines are to return in the film. This change from the books is impactful because it demonstrates her love for her family and highlights her significant growth since the beginning of the film.